Hey, deserving listeners, 90-Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. That's what this series is called, in which they go to a resort and get therapy, I guess if you can call it that. And my name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and professor. This is the Psychology in Seattle YouTube channel. And I want to say that since this is a psychology YouTube channel, I might end up getting into some triggering material. So just keep that in mind as you watch and take care of yourself. Let's watch.
I want to see what he texts her.
That's what I'm saying. Let's go see. Let's go see.
I'm sorry that happened.
Can I have your phone, Jovi? Can I have your phone?
Stop. It's over. Okay?
Do this to me.
Stop. You threw a drink in my face. Just please don't even get near me right now.
No, I want to see it.
Jesus Christ. He could be intoxicated now as well, but that doesn't excuse this, of course. Yikes. So, well, might he be thinking, look, I'm not going to just, that's not by policy. Now, might that be a part of infidelity? This is infidelity. It's not the classic infidelity, but it's lies and contact with a threat to the relationship. And how do you recover from that? Well, you know, there's a process, and a part of that might involve having access to your partner's phone, at least for a time, so you can look at things and reassure yourself and gain trust back. But so if I were a friend of Yara's, I'd say just wait. He's been drinking, maybe you've been drinking. Go back to therapy and talk about this. It's going to take a while. I don't think there's anything that can be done right now that's going to solve the problem, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's none of my business, but you deserved that.
Okay, you deserve
I deserve that. I deserve that. I'm not denying that I didn't deserve that, but like enough is enough, okay? That's it.
Okay, so now he's saying he does deserve it, but let's move on. Okay, that's a start.
Did she show up? You texted her.
She did not come.
That is horrible, Jovi.
Listen, I was drunk. I f***ed up, okay, and that's it.
So no, if I get drunk.
Okay, interesting. So he is now doing another tactic that I imagine is common for him and common for people in the situation, where he has realized that he can't just use the strategy of putting her down or labeling her, because he was doing that earlier in this day. When they were fighting in the morning, he just walked away. He's like, oh, she's just crazy. You know, I just, you know, women or her or something, or people from her part of the world, or whatever excuse he can say. And he tried to do that here. It didn't work. He's stuck on a boat. And then he has the, drink splashed in his face. So maybe that indicates like, oh, maybe she's more angry than normal. And so he resorts to the next strategy, which is, yeah, I fucked up. I was drunk. I'm sure he's probably said that a lot of times. And let's move on. Hey, don't. Why dwell on the past? That that kind of thing. That doesn't address it, Jovi. It might address the particular incident, but it doesn't address everything. So much of what we fight about. This is something that maybe y'all know, but if you don't. So much of what we fight about with our partners is what we do when we fight. We fight about previous things that happened during the fight. I've treated many couples where the initial incident, and it kind of looks like this way with her, because when she first said, oh, did you she was smiling. I didn't show those clips, but she's like, did you text someone from Jamaica? Did you do that? Yeah, I mean, that lasted for a while, even in the edit. Maybe it lasted longer. But he kept shutting her down and telling her to shut up and turning away and like, I'm not going to talk about it right now. Like, it's stupid. That's the problem, is his response to her. And to be able to articulate that and know that, if you're Jovi particularly, but if you're Yara, it can be confusing because on paper you're like, well, he did just say that he deserved it and he is taking responsibility in a sense. So what am I upset about again? I feel upset, though. I feel angry still. I feel like it's not resolved. But what do I have to resolve? So it can be helpful sometimes to know what the options are. And one of the options to investigate is, well, for Yara, it's possible that she could say, it's not that you texted this stripper in Jamaica. I don't think you're going to get together with this stripper. I don't think you're going to ever get together with a stripper, really. But the way that you treat me, the way that you lie to me, the way that you humiliate me, you lied in front of everybody to me. You make me feel this small. You make me feel like I don't matter in the world. And now everyone knows it, that I don't matter in the world. So thanks for that. And maybe there's obviously some other issues around, feeling hurt just by him going to a strip club, which could have its own pain. But I don't know. She seems pretty open to, she doesn't seem completely cut off from that in terms of just having a good time, or even Jovi mildly enjoying himself. You never know. Maybe the two of them even look at porn together or something. You just don't know. It's possible. But the real problem, I think, for Yara, which would make sense to me, that's what I can relate to, is the way that he treats her, the way he lies to her, the way he responds when she finds out about a lie, the way he discounts her, the way he ignores her and tells her to shut up. Like, that's what hurts. So I wonder what she'll say here.
Like, I can go and text some dude?
That's not a good excuse.
Why the you married if you like her then? Go married with a stripper. I get it. You like this stripper.
And, Yara's triggered and makes sense. But if I were the therapist or a friend, maybe not now, but I would propose those things that I just proposed as a way to, or just throw it out there, because, she's really fixated on the stripper, and that can undermine not only Yara's argument here, but it can also confuse the situation for Jovi. Let's just say in a weird world, Jovi says, okay, I promise I'll never talk to another stripper. I'll never go to a strip club again. That doesn't solve the problem, because Jovi's issues are much bigger than that. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're anything like me, your relationships are very important to you. And really, most of the reason why I make content, and perhaps a lot of the reason why you're here with me today, is to think about your relationships. And evidence shows that strong attachments contribute to all sorts of positive outcomes, like improved well-being or happiness, lowered anxiety, lowered depression, better relationships with your kids. Now, one type of relationship that we're often talking about here is romantic relationships or soulmates. I would say that a huge factor in the success of my relationship with my wife has to do with all the therapy that I've been through. Well, one place you can find a therapist to help with that is at BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, it's definitely worth giving a try. So become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit betterhelp.com/Kirk today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Kirk.
I am not a stripper. I wish I could be like that. I just don't know the stripper.
It's similar to just general infidelity. Like, you have a couple and let's say one person cheats, and then the victim says, you cheated on me, how dare you? And then this person's like, I'm sorry, I'll block this person. And then this person actually does block the other person. And then this person is supposed to say, oh, okay, I'm good now. I wouldn't be good. There's something going on with this person that led them to make thousands of decisions to cheat. Or let's say in some weird circumstance, the other person just dies, okay, in a freak accident. This person, the victim of the cheating, should be like, okay, threat gone. No, threat isn't gone. The threat is within the partner.
Do I need to know what you do to be like that? But I don't know what's so special about that.
Yara, look at me, please. Yara, I apologize to you. I know you don't want to hear it right now, but I'm sorry. You can
put that apology to your honest. I'm not.
Okay, it's a good step that she doesn't have to receive it because of all the circumstances, but just saying you're sorry doesn't mean you're actually sorry. What means you're sorry is that you my whole thing. You recognize the pain. You recognize, if Jovi were to say anything even close to, Yara, wife of mine, I feel terrible for having hurt your feelings in a variety of ways. Let me name the 10 ways that I've hurt your feelings today and yesterday. Strip club, lying multiple times, roping other people in, humiliating you, discounting you this morning, discounting you earlier, telling you to shut up, acting like it's no big deal, making you feel like you're lesser, all those things. I feel bad for having done those things that caused you pain, which of course it would. And you were more than gracious throughout that whole thing. So, I don't know what's going on with me, but something's going on with me. I have a problem and I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to work on it. I'm sorry for causing that harm to you. You don't deserve that. Anything even like 10% of that would be something of an apology. Just him saying he's sorry. I'm sorry I was drunk. So it's interesting. We're seeing him even resort to another layer of his behavior. So at first it was discount, shut up. I got my sunglasses on. I'm going to look away. Then, oh my God, she's actually upset. I'm sorry I was drunk. Let's move on. Now he's like, I'm sorry. He's not saying I'm drunk. So he's it's like too little, too late, pal. Where was this in the beginning? If you're truly sorry, why didn't you tell me earlier? Suddenly now you have remorse for what you did? Is that suddenly now you have a conscience after all this time?
All right. You want something to drink?
And even to the point of, if you truly have remorse, why did you fucking do it in the first place? If you care about my feelings, why did you do it in the first place? Because something's going on there, right? Now, there's a possibility that he could apologize in that way, the way I role played earlier, and say, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what's going on. I'll look into it. I'll get back to you, but something on the way. So, if you truly are sorry, then you wouldn't have done it. It's like a Swelu. If he apologizes and he feels bad and he says he's remorseful, okay, then why do you keep doing it? Now, again, I've talked about before how there can be syndromes around shame, and it could involve aversion. It's not really remorse, though. It's more of self-centered sabotage of, I'm a terrible person. Then there's a buildup of motivation or need for defense or striking back, like, I'm not a bad person, I deserve this. And then you go to the strip club and then you feel bad about yourself. You're like, oh, I'm a terrible person. I don't have no self-control. None of that equation involves the feelings of the other person. You're just in your own head.
I was upset, but I didn't mean anything bad by it. Like, I didn't want to hook up with the stripper. I just wanted to, know where she worked and know how the guys can go out for a fun night and have a good time. That's it.
But you have hooked up with her in the past, right?
I have hooked up with her in the past. I mean, that's a long time ago. It's in the past before I even met Yara. It's not something that's been recent, so, yeah.
Ick, you're not helping your case, buddy. Oh yeah, sure. We've gotten together in the past, but yeah, it was before I met Yara. Yeah, I don't think that exactly. Why? What's the benefit to that risk unless you don't care?
Maybe I shouldn't have done it, but I can't change what I did, so.
Yeah, he seems a little droopy-eyed, a little intoxicated, but I think this is representative of how he thinks. It's like, maybe I shouldn't have done it, but, I did what I did. So, yeah, maybe we should make a checklist or a bingo card of the things that the folks on this show will say along these lines of, it is what it is, I'm sorry you feel that way, whatever, those kinds of statements, it doesn't have any meaning to it. And I want to tell you all this so that you can know what you should be searching for in yourself when you transgress and you apologize, because it's not often modeled. And you might just think saying you're sorry or being nice to someone that you harmed is enough. It's not usually, particularly in situations like this. Also, if someone transgresses upon you, you should know what you are probably looking for and what you deserve. You might have someone apologizing to you and consciously you're thinking, well, I should be able to move on because they just said they're sorry or they're taking responsibility. But if they don't actually identify what they did, especially if you ask them, okay, what are you apologizing for? And they're like, yeah, the whole thing that I did. No, what are you apologizing for? What did you do to me? Well, what do you want me to say? Then it's okay. Well, then you're not really apologizing. You're just you're trying to trick me. You're saying a bunch of fucking words and you're not actually sorry. That's what I'm hearing, that kind of shit, you know? So you deserve to have someone really apologize so that you can have that repair and also have some evidence that they're not going to do it again, that they know. That's a big part of the apology system, is that when we apologize, we take the time, given the scenario, however severe, to investigate not only what the transgression was, but why it happened, why we did that thing. So we can avoid it in the future. We can work on those issues. We can identify the precursors, you know. For him, I would imagine that there's some kind of system that motivates him to even go to a strip club, and that noticing of those precursors of, oh, I must be feeling distant or hurt or upset, or I want to have fun with my friends, but I don't want Yara there, and I don't have a way of asserting that, you know, whatever it is, there's some kind of germinating seed that builds up into the behavior, and he should know those things. The only way he's going to know those things if he identifies the hurt, identifies the problem, and starts to develop a system to avoid doing it again. All right. Well, I want to tell you, if I ever heart a comment, it just means that I am acknowledging that I read it, because they don't really have any other button. I wish they had a number of buttons. So I will, when I look at comments, particularly member comments, because those are the ones that I read first, and I just want to say, hey, heard you. It's sort of like I'm nodding my head at you. I'm not even necessarily agreeing. Sometimes I am adamantly agreeing, but other times I'm saying, okay, you know, I hear you, and I heart it. So I don't have any other way to indicate, because, you know, if I had to actually type out a response and think about a response to every single comment that I wanted to acknowledge that I read, it would take me years. So I just want people to know that I'm not like hearting, you know, like heart, or, oh my God, I love that. Or, you know, it could be any sort of acknowledgement. I hope that makes sense. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.